I'll get it on my next slide.
Yeah, I mean, you won't because everybody gets one.
Well, as far as you know.
Yes, but it is very, very logical that there's one. Because reincarnation doesn't make sense.
Why not?
Because it assumes that like the soul is like some like foreign entity from the body, you know? And if that were true, that would mean it would exist before the body, but that doesn't make any sense because where were the souls when there were no bodies? You know? So if something had to come into creation.
Where was anything when there was no nothing? That's not fair. Everything had to come from nothing. So
No, but it didn't come from nothing. It came from a singularity that spawned everything. So it's like there were. But that's
Maybe
the thing
there
is
were
like there's a
souls in
start point. Like there weren't stars right away. You know, like stars had to form, and like stars die, and then they're not stars anymore. They don't have souls. They're not. So like life forms take a long time to like, be born, and they grow and develop. And it's like our identities, I think, are like it's part of our. It's just our neurochemistry, like creating a thing, a living thing, you know. But that living thing needs to die, and it's like, why wouldn't it die when the body dies? Like, why would it exist after the body's gone? It came from the body, you know. And if it didn't come from the body, then where was it before there was a body? It doesn't. It makes more sense. The body is an origin point for sentience. Essentially dies with the body. That said, I mean anything is possible.
Yeah.
You are like a tiny fraction piece of God, and like God is experiencing itself in like a fractured, subjective way. Memory is part of what it is to be sentient, right? You can't have an identity or self-awareness without having memory, because you have to be able to remember what you are in relation to what other things are. Like, to have self-awareness, you have to have memory, right?
Yeah.
So memory is for sure just a thing in your brain. Like, that's physical. So your memories are gone when you die. So that all that information is lost. Right? So it's like, how could you be? Because that's basically what we are. That's what a sentient being is essentially it's information that's stored in a hard drive that's your brain. And like, it's like a computer. And like, when the computer's gone, like that information is gone. You know, it's the same thing with your brain. Which sucks.
Unless there's a way to transfer that information. You just don't know.
Yes, but how? Right. So transferring it to a computer is one thing, but let's assume that it just gets automatically
If you
transferred to
transfer it
something
to a
else.
computer, then why can't you transfer it to another?
Yeah, but then what? But then why wouldn't that be just grown and like developed its own identity? You know, like you or I did in our own bodies. You see, like, there needs to be an origin point of that, you know, soul or whatever. There has to be a first time that it existed.
Yeah, that's God, right?
Well, I mean, that's the most logical way to view that thought experiment. I think, yeah, it would have to be God. Yeah, I guess so. But I still don't think it's likely. I think I don't know if we're God.
I don't know if we're God either.
Although when I'm tripping, I'm sure of it though.
Yeah.
When I'm on mushrooms or acid or whatever, I'm just like, no, yeah, we're definitely all like the entire universe is God and it's all connected and self-aware and it's like we're basically just like little dreams within a dream, you know.
Why not just live as if that were true?
I don't know. I mean, because it almost doesn't even matter, like, for the day-to-day life, it, like, is almost irrelevant, like, because we live in our little world, you know, like, we're living our lives, like, we're in our own little world, like, we're, like, it's kind of hard. It's kind of impossible to think about being part of a God universe and shit like on your day to day. It like doesn't really apply to this.
Applies to us right now. This is the day to day.
Yeah. Well, like, why would you go? Like, I don't know. It's like if you're like in a dead end job, it's like being underpaid. It's like, why even do it anymore? Like if you believe in your heart that it's like we're all part of this infinite thing and like it doesn't matter and you can just live again, then it's like, why bother fucking around with this life?
Well, just in case you're wrong.
Just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you should live. You should believe whatever you want to believe, but you should live with the idea that you're probably wrong, right? Like, most people are probably wrong about what's like the nature of reality and like what happens when we die, right?
I think it's fair to say most people are objectively wrong because most people profess specific beliefs that are definitely
There's
not
so many
true.
people that and so many people with so many different beliefs. Like, most people are just wrong, right? So you should always live your life with that thought in the back of your head. Like,
Yeah.
I might be wrong. Like, you can believe something all the way. Like I don't really have a firm belief one way or another on any sort of nature of reality thing, but whatever it is, I always think like, well, I might be wrong, so I should still try and live this life as if it's my only life, and like do the best I can.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
That's my
that makes
argument
sense.
against the why do anything. Well, you might be wrong.
Yeah, that's good answer. I hope we keep existing.
I'm
Because it's funny, because it's like, there's really no reason to fear being dead, but there's absolutely a reason to fear the process of dying, you know? Like, I feel like the process of dying is not gonna fucking be fun. Like, pretty much no matter how you die, it's gonna suck, you know?
likely, yeah.
It's just
There's-
gonna be
I mean, there's-
scary and painful and terrible. I mean, I feel like you have to do a lot of work to, like, really be comfortable and accept, like, death and like just let the death process take its course.
To do a lot of work
Yeah, I think you have to do like a lot of emotional work.
or drugs.
Yeah. But it just would be so, just the idea of like, I am not going to be here tomorrow, you know? Like, that's gotta be terrifying. Your last moments just have to be so scary.
Maybe. I think it depends on
But
where you
mentality,
are.
right? Like, you can prepare for it. Like, I am not prepared. I would be terrified.
I think it's fair to say that most 34-year-olds.
Yeah.
Did we get it? 34-year-olds are
Not ready to die.
not prepared to die.
Yeah, most of them, right? Everything has to have an endpoint, though.
What?
Everything has to have an endpoint. Like, even if we are self-aware after death, then there's like something else, whatever it is, you know. It's like that has to end, you know. So like there has to be an end to everything. Because infinity, like actual infinity, infinite life, like that would take infinite energy.
Yeah.
And we don't have infinite energy in the universe, so there's no way.
Yeah. I don't really know. No, I'm not.
Well, I mean, nobody does. We also don't even know what is it, like 96% of the matter and energy in the universe is like basically undefined. It's just dark energy and dark matter, but that's like a placeholder name. Like, we don't really know what that shit is. We can just tell it's there, you know? But it's like it's having an effect on matter that we do see and energy that we do see. So we know something's there, but we don't know what it is. But I mean, I think it's still there's not infinite energy. You know, there's a finite amount, but it goes back to one point in space and time, making a God singularity and birthing a new universe, so a new big thing. And that makes
God
sense.
singularity.
Yeah, the God singularity.
Is that where we came from?
Yeah, where all energy and matter in the universe was one point in space and time. It was like it was like way tiny, like way smaller than.
Yeah.
You know.
You think we're headed back to that?
Well, it's impossible to know, but it's like that sits well in my mind because that gives an origin for our universe, because our universe started with the end of another universe, and our universe will end with the start of a new one, and that makes sense why we exist in the first place, because then we are on an infinite cycle where it's the finite amount of energy that's being reused, like recharged every fuckload of billions of years. The Big Bang had to be an effect that requires a cause, and I think that cause has to be the collapse of the previous universe.